Hello everybody, my name's James. Welcome to the Planet FPL Gameweek 1 Deadline stream, and it's live. Hope you're well and I hope you're all set. We are about 57 minutes away from the Gameweek 1 deadline. You should just about be getting your teams absolutely locked in by this stage. Firstly, a shout out for my man on the graphics. Which way do I point? That way. FPL captain, our hero. You might see the graphics look a little bit different to last season. No huge changes. You've got to the left of me on screen the predictions. You've got the countdown clock to deadline and the current time. You haven't got the current time. You got the time of the deadline. You got top right of me, my team, and I don't like it. I'm not going to bullshit anyone. Do you know what? This is how bad my day's been. I've just clocked. Look what I've done. Fucking upside down. Wrong thing in. So yeah, Perisic and Doherty are gone. Many of you might have seen I released a podcast with some information that was enough to put me off, basically. I was trusting my eyes a little bit too much, I think. There was an inside source who tweeted that their predicted team, and that's it. It's a predicted team, but it's not normally wrong. So I've taken them out very reluctantly. Matty Cash and Kieran Trippier are in, if you listened to the podcast this morning. I did put a note in the video this morning with a link to that audio. We've put it on all the audio platforms. I put it out on Twitter via our Patreon platform. I hope it was 5 minutes long. I hope you get the chance to listen to that. I've gone from 95% believing Perisic will start down to around about 15-20%, and the same with Matt Doherty, unfortunately. So I didn't even want to take Perisic out. To be honest, for about an hour, Perisic still stayed in my team, and then I put the audio out once I'd made the decision to move him on. Because at that point, I thought, well, if I'm taking him out, I've got to come and be honest with everyone and just share the information that I had. So, and it doesn't mean the information I have is correct, by the way. Like, Perisic could play. I'm not telling you he's not going to play. I'm telling you the information I have suggests that he's not. That's it, and that's been shared, and multiple people are sharing it across Twitter now and stuff as well. But yeah, I was very tempted still to keep him because of the upside. I think the big thing for me for not keeping Perisic was knowing that if it's a one-pointer tomorrow, I think he can come on and score, by the way. But if it's a one-pointer tomorrow, and say the likes of Cash, Trippier, Kyle Walker, the Arsenal players, Zinchenko, Gabriel, whomever, do well, Luka Dean, then Perisic is going to nosedive with Chelsea next, and those guys doing well at the point he might be 5.3 this time next week. And although I'll be like, yeah, great, I don't really want to be burning the 0.2. What I'd rather do is buy him back when he gets at that price. So, and with Doherty, if he doesn't start the season, it's not a guarantee he gets in. Reality. So, yeah. If you want to know, by the way, I would want Perisic and Jed Spence to play tomorrow. This is my personal opinion. And Emerson Royal to play with Perisic at Chelsea. But what we looked at on Tuesday's podcast, Doherty's numbers are unbelievable if he plays. And I talked myself into it. So, yeah, I'm disappointed. It means I'm not happy with my team, but I'll be very honest, I ain't got time to think about it. I'm more worried about the content than my team. I'm not going to finish number one in the world. Let's try and finish top 100k. That would be decent. Below my team, which is top right, so I'll read it to you. It's Ramsdale, Trent, Robertson, Cancelo, Cash, Trippier, Luis Diaz, Captain Heung-min Son, Martinelli, Gabriel Jesus, Erling Haaland. First sub is Andreas Pereira. To below that on the screen, you will see my top 10 captaincy picks in order of preference this season, this week. Yes, I believe Mo Salah is the best choice this week, but I have decided that over the first 6 game weeks, I can punch against it with Tottenham and Manchester City players. That's why Mo Salah's not in my squad. I know Mo Salah's going to do well. I'm not a complete idiot. So there's my captaincy preferences. I think really it's Liverpool or Tottenham, the top 3, really. Yes, City maybe. And Jamie Vardy be the real kind of differential punt if you fancy it. Below me on the ticker as well, you will see benching dilemmas. These are in order of preference. I'll take you through screen 1 first. So, as it just leaves the screen. So, Bailey over, these would be benching dilemmas. So, the player with the tick is preferred. So, Bailey over Mitrovic, Mitrovic over Neto, over Dalot, over Castagne. On to page 2. Castagne over Aït-Nouri, over Dewsbury Hall, over Ben White, over Sven Botman. Page 3. Botman over Andreas Pereira, over Dunk, over Nico Williams, over Nathan Patterson. Page 4. Patterson over Murphy, over De Silva, over Undev, over Greenwood. And finally, there is a page 5 for the goalkeepers, which I'll bring on screen for you now. He says, hopefully, there she is. Edward Mendy over Ramsey, over Ward, over Raya, over Sanchez. As ever though, play it your way. But if you're submitting a question, please check the graphics. There's every chance the answer to your question is on the screen. I will get through the questions in the order they have submitted, and I will get through them as quickly as I can. 50 minutes of fast pace, guys. Good luck. Lee Sherwood, Grealish and Williams benched, or 4.5 million midfield benched, and Robbo plus differential 8 million D. I've lost the will to live already, Lee. What is going on with your question, mate? Grealish and Williams benched, or 4.5 million benched and Robbo, plus difference 8 million to Diaz, or 4.5 million benched James and plus 0.5 and Ramsdale. Honestly, I'm not going to give you an answer, Lee, because I lost the will to live reading that question. But I wish you the best of luck, mate. Go the option with Robertson. TJ Powell, thank you, my friend. Danny Burns says, hi, James. Good luck for the season. I'm sure you pondered this one, but interested to know your thoughts on starting with Kane and moving to Haaland rather than Son and going to KDB. My thoughts are in terms of like everybody else, right? I think obviously Harry is the better choice for this weekend than Haaland, but it's absolutely knowing that I'll want Haaland next week, and maybe when I do other things, I'm liable to make mistakes, right? So I've left it where I can maybe go Son to KDB next week. I don't have to. I don't have that set in my mind that I'm definitely doing it, by the way. No way at all. Whereas I knew if I went Kane, I was definitely going to want to go Haaland. And I think those who've gone Kane and Son are booking themselves in for that, which relies upon no injuries, no issues. By the way, yes, if you can hear a child in the background, a small one, my 3-year-old son, Harry, you want to say hello, mate? Or you just want to make noise? He just wants to make noise. Yeah, I'm dad sitting while I'm doing this as well. The joys, right? But he's happy. You know, it's cool. He can have the iPad for now. We'll watch the football together later, which he probably won't have any interest in, but I'll throw him in the air if Palace score. Yeah, I mean, look, you can go that way, Dan. It's fine. I would want to start with Haaland. I look at Haaland's ownership as well, 43%, and think, how is it not going to be more than that this time next week? That's what I think, really. And if Haaland, let's say Haaland scores and Kane blanks, bang. Whereas I think the other way, Son to De Bruyne is not so much of a guarantee. That's how I feel, in all honesty. TJ Powell says, hey, James, how are you? One for the Zombie League team, if I can. Oh, Alisson, Cancelo and Dyer, or Loris, Robertson and Nico Williams allows cash to James. Everyone join the Patreon, like the stream. Cheers, TJ. Thank you to... we've got loads of new patrons. We're overwhelmed. We're so pleased. I'm sorry if we've got new patrons today and I've not been able to message you. I've tried to do my best to keep up. The Robertson option, again, TJ, who also says, remember everyone, it's just a game, play it your way and have fun. Good luck to everyone. That's correct, mate. So, by the way, if you're looking for the FPL expertise, this isn't the deadline stream for you. This is more the fun one. Steve Greenwell says, hey, James, kick-ass this year. Best of luck. Thanks for the hard work. Thank you, mate. Antonino Gitto says, in my 4-3-3 freemium, Jesus, do you think, A, Martinelli and Nico Williams / Andreas Pereira rotating, or B, Gabriel and Bailey? Option A, my friend. Neil Thompson says, evening, James. Nothing more than thanks for another great week of content, and the wife has her team entered in the mini league. Thanks. Good luck, Neil. Have a good one. Stephen Hamilton says, evening, James. What's the thinking with Gibbs White and Sky? Too risky now. He's gone. But I'm going to tell you the truth, Stephen. I looked at doing a Sky team earlier when the Perisic news broke, because I'd settled on a team and Perisic was in it. So I've played around with it, and I need to look at it again. I'll maybe talk about it a little bit at 6:30. I'm not locked in for my Sky team. I've not had the time to look at it, which is, do you know what? It's why I'm never going to win that game, mate, because I can't put enough time into it. James Wilson says, hey, James, thanks for great content this week. Thoughts on Aki for 2 weeks before moving to Evam? Not keen. I think there's better 5.0s. To be honest, I think City will concede over the weekend. I think Villa and Newcastle will, to be honest, as well. I'd rather go with a player with the upside. Yes, he's a threat from set pieces, but West Ham are bloody good at defending them, actually. They're a giant of a team. It's part why I think West Ham will score tomorrow. There's every chance by next week John Stone's back in the team. So, wouldn't be my preference. Harry! Shh. Thank you, mate. Fancy Billy, hello, pal. Wagwan J Lins. J Lins. Which combo do you fancy more, Mendy and Trippier or Ward, Everson and James? If I go down the Trippier route, he'll become Perisic in 3. Option 2, definitely. Holostamos says, hello James. Having Bailey and Trippier with template light bench but 1 million in the bank, does that smell on being forced an early wildcard? No Villa Newcastle fixtures from 3. Look, Villa's 3 and 4 is okay. Palace away, West Ham at home. They're not fixtures going to make you wildcard. Once you get to 5, you want to get rid of Villa. Newcastle, I mean, you can keep the likes of Trippier. The thing is, are you going to be in a position by game week 3 you can bench the likes of a Trippier or a Cash or a Dean or a Bailey? Yeah, possibly, maybe. I think Villa, you can go right up to 5, really. 3 and 4 aren't great, but they're not awful. They might finish above Palace and West Ham, for example. I don't think they will, to be honest. But Newcastle, Trippier from 3, obviously City, you don't like the look of it. But listen, they'll improve again, Newcastle, this year. I don't doubt that. So, no, I don't think you are. If I thought that going those 2 players was booking me into a wild card, I would have gone elsewhere. Obviously, the alternative I could have considered was going like Nico Williams and Reece James. But then I'd have... Or I could have gone a 4.5, but I've left 0.5 in the bank. And the reason I left 0.5 in the bank rather than going, say, James and... I don't know, 8 Nori, Castagna, whatever. 1, I hadn't given enough thought to 4.55s, so I didn't think I could make a good decision. So that put me off. So I could have gone like James and Nico Williams, but then I'd have had to start Nico Williams or Pereira, which I didn't hate. I looked at that last week, but I just think it's trapping me, actually. So I felt, because, in all honesty, because I wasn't in the best place to make the right decision, I decided to leave a bit of money. I'd done enough research on Cash and Trippier in midweek for the Tuesday podcast to know that they were great assets, just that a starting Doherty was much better. That was it. So no, I don't feel booked in. I don't think you should either. At the end of the day, if the template does well, the early wildcard is going to get put back. If the template bombs, people are going to wildcard early. That's probably where we're at. FPL Invincible says, hi James, not sure which one to choose, Diaz or Robbo. Good luck in the new season. It'd be Robertson for me, mate. Lewis Whitson says, bench one of Neto, Walker or Bailey. Neto. Daniel Koppel says, evening James, would you go with Perisic and Ramsdale or James and Sanchez? First bench is Andreas Pereira. James and Sanchez, and that's obviously, I'm going to hope you've got the Danny Ward combination there, because the Leicester Brighton rotation does look good. Steve says, want to wish you both the best of this season. Any change of heart on Perisic in the last few hours? Yes, mate. I've put it out everywhere as best as I could to try and notify people that I had changed my opinion since the pre-recording of the podcast yesterday. And to be honest, even the Patreon podcast we recorded this morning, literally posted that, and that's when I saw the information. So I've done my best to try and inform people. I haven't been telling everyone I'm going to go these guys just to stitch them up. Like, I didn't want to take them out. I genuinely, even now thinking that they weren't going to start, thinking I want to keep them. And partly influenced because I'd said it on the pod. You feel trapped. As a content creator, when you say you're going to do something, I'm a human being. I'm allowed to change my mind. But you feel trapped. You feel like, I've got to go with it. But come on, I've done my best to explain the reasoning, and it's not like I've just changed my. Oh, I had a flicker in my heart. No, new information's come to light that I think I had to share, and I have shared. Pushcar says, evening, my friend. Why does Suj always do so left side and so much against the template? What's the conspiracy theory? He just likes to be different. He's a bit of a rebel, really, at heart. Big Geek says, hi James. Would you go Edison and 5 million defender Gabriel or Diaz and Sanchez? Rest of defence, I'm not interested in the rest of defence. That it won't influence the decision, mate, but thank you. Diaz and Sanchez. Big Geek says, best of luck, and to you too, mate. Bushcast says, hi James, asking from a point of view of game theory and price points, is it tricky to go without an 8 million midfielder, because surely 2 game weeks later one of them is going to pop off? Yeah, it might not be one of them, by the way. Might be a few of them. We were talking earlier about the 8 million position, and like, they're all great options. None of them are bad. I think you can make a case against all of them, but you could make a case for all of them. The 7 million option, just became a graveyard with Harvey Barnes' injury. I think there's every chance Grealish might not start on Sunday now. That's become a difficult position and a price point. I don't like teams to see without an 8 million. I really don't. There's too many good options in there. I don't mind like what Andy Martin's done. Andy Martin's got about 3 of them at the moment, I think. I don't think that's the worst play. You can always come down to the likes of Martinelli's and stuff. So I think he's obviously made sacrifices elsewhere to do that, but that's what he's chosen to do. He's welcome to do that. His midfield looks great. It looks like he's got the best midfield in the game. He probably hasn't got the best attack and the best defence and stuff, right? So you win some and you lose some. But yeah, I don't like teams I see without an 8 million midfielder at the moment, is the honest opinion. Andrew Gronin says, James, I've had Bowen since launch, but Schumacher's not ready and West Ham has a lot of concerns, which may or may not include Antonio. Do you think Bowen's a better or worse option if central? I don't think it hugely impacts Jared Bowen. I think you can get returns from either. And often from the right-hand side, he'll run in behind Antonio off the flank, the kind of old Lundberg run from right to in. Or if he is playing right up front, he'll play on the shoulder. So don't think it'd be a huge impact to him. I'm not aware of an Antonio problem, I must say. I think the fact that we know Schumacher isn't going to start can't be bad for Bowen, because essentially he's going to be playing with the same teammates. So we know the capability. There's certain teams like Leeds, for example. I don't really know what we're going to get tomorrow. The spine of the midfield has completely changed. So I don't know what I'm going to get. I think we'll probably get a Leeds win tomorrow, is based on my prediction, but it could be wildly wrong. West Ham, I know what I'm going to get at the weekend, even if they have a cut of absentees. So I don't think it affects Bowen badly. Harry! Shh. Thank you. Good boy. Who's next? Shite. Sorry, guys. Hasselbank's win. Julian Alvarez, third striker. Don't hate it. Don't hate it, but probably booking yourself possibly the third place. I like it more if you've only got, say, Cancelo with, for example. If it's your third City, not Kane, because you might be blocking yourself from the third City that you want next week. FPL Maldini says, do you feel that Martinelli is fairly nailed now for game week 1 and 2? Emil Smith-Rowe seems to have barely played in pre-season. Yeah, we think Smith-Rowe probably didn't train yesterday. The intention was for him to return to training. We don't think he did. So he's behind. He hasn't played in Arsenal's pre-season since the first game in Germany against Nuremberg. So he's going to be behind, isn't he? Yeah, I see no reason why not, especially running one game a week for Arsenal. I would expect Martinelli to start all the games up till sort of game week 5. Then there's maybe a debate, game week 4 possibly. Alistair Coper says, hey mate, last decision, Ramsdale, Neto, Diaz or Ward, Bailey, Mount. Cheers for all your pre-season content. I think the first one, the Neto one, Alistair. Josh says, thoughts on triple Arsenal attack. Saka and Martinelli get 1 point for clean sheet, so maybe they can half cover a clean sheet. It's one way of looking at it, I suppose. But what about like save points for Ramsdale and stuff? I wouldn't look at it as covering it that way. If you're going Arsenal attacking players, you're not doing it with a clean sheet in mind, are you? You're doing it because you think they can get the bits up front. Listen, if you go to 3, I'm sure you'll be going Arsenal's front 3. So I'm absolutely fine with that. Odegaard, people talking Odegaard quite a bit a few weeks ago. I'm not seeing a lot of that now. I'm not keen. I'd save the money on Martinelli personally. Saka's great choice. Great choice. I said that on the pod this morning. Like, you can look at Jesus' ownership, which is, I mean, he's the highest owned player ever in FPL, is what I'd seen. I think, don't quote me on that, but I'm sure that's what I saw someone tweet earlier, and I just take that as gospel, obviously. But you can fight against it. You can go like Ramsdale, Martinelli, Saka. Just Saka alone could do better than Jesus, right? So sod this essential shit. Anyone says essential, I'm just going to skip your question, to be honest, especially game week 1. Vivek Gore says, which pair do you like, Neto and Sancho or Kulusevski and Bailey? I'm not keen on Sancho, mate, so I'm going to say the Kulusevski and Bailey. Craig Gardner says, hi James, would you go Sterling, Andreas or Luis Diaz, Rashford? It'd be Luis Diaz, Rashford for me, mate. I've been just thinking about it. That's actually a complete no-brainer. FPL Sponge, Saka or Foden. Have Jesus and Martinelli already. It doesn't impact the opinion or decision. Generally, from that, I'd go Saka. Unless you're confident that you'll want an Arsenal defender in a couple of weeks. And if you're worried about that, don't. But how sure are we that Foden even starts? I think he probably does. I think he needs to. 70%? I prefer Saka. Put it this way, if that was me, I'd be starting with Saka. Rickwick says, Ramsdale and Walker or Perisic and Sanchez. I've got to be option A now, mate. Prabnor Singh says, hello, James. I hope you're having a good day. Who shall I start between Trippier and Neto? Trips all day, mate. And what percentage do you think Perisic starts? it's me with what I've seen in my eyes that still is grasping the belief that Perisic may start tomorrow. But it's also now going against all logic that I'm seeing being spoken and said and written from people who have a much closer tie and understanding of what's happening in the club than myself. And obviously I have the bias as the fan. I want him to play as well, so there's the influence of that, right? I still wouldn't be shocked if I turn up tomorrow and he's in the team. But in the same way, as I said, when I said I was going for Perisic originally, I said I wouldn't be shocked if I got to the stadium and saw Sessegnon played. It's game week 1 of hopefully Tottenham are going to have 60-65 this year. Hopefully. So it's not like essential that they start game week 1. Conte said he doesn't want to take risks, and that seems to be what people believe is that he's not going to at this stage. Perisic will probably be more important for Tottenham in 6 months than he will be in the next month, to put it in that format, if you wish. So 15-20%, mate. In my heart, I'm still like about 70-80, by the way. But even that's not enough. Sam Howard says, currently starting Nico Williams in order to squeeze Saka, Cancelo and Ramsdale. Should I consider downgrading one to improve Nico or go with 10 men power? I think if you're asking the question at this stage, Sam, and you don't know who you want to go to, I have to simply say, just go with the 10 plus 5 as we've spoken about as a strategy. Excuse me. Nicola Torco, good luck in the season, everyone. And to you too, Nicola. Pushkar says, Sancho and Reece James or Saka and Trippier cash option 2. James Brennan says, hi James, great work all pre-season. Thank you for the content. Would you go James and Mahrez or Diaz and Saka option 2? Yes, you have Cancelo. It doesn't change the opinion. Joe Knight says, hi James, favourite mid asset between 5.5, 6.5. For me, the favourites are Bailey at 5, Neto 5.5, Martinelli 6, Rashford 6.5. That'll answer those ones for you. And I wouldn't be keen on a 7 right now. Pushkar says, not looking at ownership, who's the best game week 2 captain? I don't understand the blind wagon behind Haaland captain. Haaland. That's it. It's potentially got a nothing defence to play against next week, is the reality. Just listen to Neil Grover on Bournemouth's Correspondent Week podcast last week. Now they are trying to add, but it's not done yet. Harry! Shh. Quiet, please. Thank you. Hold on, I've suddenly looked at my son and feel like he hasn't got a nappy on. Like he's disposed of it. He has. Why has he done that? It's incredible. Hang on. Little man. Come here. Right, come here. Right. Look, come here. Yeah. Come and say hello. Yeah. Say hello. Yeah. Hello. Say bye. Right, get daddy work. He's the best thing in the world, isn't he? Right, who's next? I don't know. Alistair Hargreaves, I think, maybe. No, maybe not. Andrew Gondin, James is doing a rotating 11th spot with... Harry! Shh! Quiet, please. Thank you. 11th spot with Nico, Patterson, Andreas. Problem is, I don't like any of the fixtures this week. What do you think of starting Archer in the hopes he gets a cameo? Forget that. Alistair Hargreaves says, hi James, do I go for Saka or drop down to Martinelli and go James and Diaz, or I go for Cash and Trippier? Go on. I mean, look, do what I've done. I've gone the Martinelli route. Dragon says, start with Neto or go with Bailey and 0.5 in the bank. It would have been Bailey for me and the money in the bank. Sam Burton says, Trippier, Rashford or Diaz Neto. That's a close one, I think. I'm going to say Diaz Neto. Brad Linden says Bailey or Almiron. Dewsbury Hall. No, Bailey. Vivek Gore says Trippier or Cash. I couldn't decide, so I went for both. For me, cash, purely because of what I said. Once I hit 3, I'll be like, oh, I don't know if I want Trippier, City and Liverpool 2 of the next 3. Whereas I can hold out with cash a bit longer, I think. Would be why. If it had been 1 for me, it'd have been Matty Cash. Dr. Payne says, no question, just want to say you smashed your pre-season content. Thank you. I need a sleep. Mitch Williams says, non-FPL. Best player to play for each of the home nations ever. Cheers for the content. Top work. Hoping for Vieira Masterclass tonight. Best player to play for the home nations ever. Northern Ireland, George Best. Wales, Gareth Bale. Scotland. Whoa. He's turned it up, hasn't he? That's a difficult one. I'm going to say Kenny Dalglish. England, Jimmy Greaves. Stop. No. No, because Daddy's working, my friend, okay? Good boy. Peter Randall, hi James, your 3 players first on a zombie team sheet. Salah, Trent. What's the matter, mate? Robertson. To be honest, maybe even Jared Bowen. A brilliant price. It's just the fixtures are shit at the start. Who's next? Pushkar, Cancelo and Saka. God, you've had a load of questions, mate. Have you picked any players yet? Cancelo and Saka versus KDB and Andreas Nika. Cancelo, Saka. Ben Edinson, hi mate. Who do you think is more important to own? Cancelo, James, Perisic. That order. Peter Randall, hi James, your 3 players first. I did that one. Brad Lewin, loved everything from pre-season, mate. Thank you. Cheers, Shifo. Final one, James, I promise. Saar, Matip and Martinelli or Alisson, Walker and Rashford. Option 1. Rishi says, hi James, will Perisic not start and have an effect on Son? Shall I move to Kane instead? Good luck for the game week and season. Did Son not having Perisic doing bad last year? There's more a thought actually that Perisic might impact Son negatively, possibly. So, no, I mean to be playing in as it stands, it's going to basically be the same team that played last day of the season. So I don't see how that could affect him badly. Harry, please. Thank you, mate. He wants to be loud because I'm being loud as well. Colin Con, is Coutinho a crazy 2-week punt? Have Neto, Martinelli and Neto and only 7 million. Cheers for all your great work. No, it's not, but honestly, I would just go Martinelli and save the money. I was thinking of doing that with Rashford. So obviously the money I've put in the bank, I could have gone back to that idea of starting with Rashford and coming down to Martinelli. Haven't considered it for a moment today. Elliot Simmons says, no Mo Stinker. Yeah, I'm sure I'll finish 5 million in the world, mate. Joshua Tan says, hi James, have you sold Perisic and for who? Yes, Trippier, cash on the screen. Daniel Koppel says, best City defender for money who isn't Cancelo. Diaz. Dom Dix something says, smash a like people, good luck everyone, cheers. Sam Jones, Robertson and Saka and Archer or James, Dewsbury Hall and Darwin. The Robertson option. I'll normally say the Robertson option if you give me one. Sean says, nice to have you guys back. James, thoughts on Trossard's option? The idea being to bench him game week 1 playing from game week 2. I wouldn't bench him. If you go for him, I'd play him in almost all circumstances. What have you got that's that much better? Be interested to know. What does it mean? You're going to bench what, Neto against Fulham or Bailey against Everton? How does this work? I'd be interested. I probably won't get to your response. Just think about that. I think it's okay. But people won't be able to get their head around it because he's probably going to play wing back. And, I can't pay 6.5 midfield for a Brighton midfield. I'll tell you what, you'll get returns from there. It's different. I explained this on the pod the other day. It's different to any other wing back in this league. I promise you, if you don't understand that, if he plays the position on Sunday, watch him. Watch him on and off the ball. You'll learn something fascinating. Iro Akuranin says, I'm benching Perisic and playing Bailey. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. Honestly, if that was me, I'd start Perisic. I honestly think, if you want my prediction, what will Perisic get tomorrow? I'm going to tell you, I think he'll get 7 points tomorrow. I think he'll come on with 15 minutes to go and score. But realistically, it's 1 point, isn't it? I think I'd still start Perisic. I'd really consider that. It's close. I'd not considered that anybody would do that. I think the more sensible idea is not to start with him. I fucking even hate myself for saying that. Nick says, good luck for the game week, James, and everyone listening. Try not to get too stressed. Enjoy the footy. Yeah, exactly that. Football's back. Enjoy it. Yusuf for sure says, hi, James. I wish you all the best for the new season. You too, Yusuf. Adam says, Onana to Everton, does that render Pickford unpickable? Had him as my second keeper for the 2 fixtures in game week 3 and 4. What is the relation to that, mate? Oh, I see what you've done there. It's not the Ajax goalie, mate. It's not. Oh God, I need a smoke. If you meant that as a joke, you've had me. Well done. Perlo's Pen says, hello, James. Hope you're coping with a stressful day. Start Neto or Perisic. Keeping Perisic. I know I want him by game week 3. I know. I thought about it. I'm not doing it. The thing is, if you're in a position where you got Neto, and I guess this applies to Bailey and the previous one away to Bournemouth. If you've got this player and you're debating starting them in the fixtures I've got this weekend, why have you gone for him in the first place? Now, I think once you can understand, you make your own decision from there, I think, I would guess. Right. Maharan, sorry if I mispronounced that. Hello everybody, my name is James. We miss you, James Fierce. Cheers for the season. Come on, you Spurs. Cheers, mate. Smash a like while you're in. That goes for everybody as well. Cheers. I'm not sure if I said that. Other people have been saying it. Paul Mansell says FPL website is struggling. I'm not surprised. Get your teams locked in. Kunal Yadev says Perisic out for Trippier or James. I went the Trippier route. That's not to say Trippier's a better choice than James, right? So if you've asked me, just James versus Trippier, James, obviously, right? But what's the knock on to you? Berticus says, evening, James. Is Mount a good pick, or does the Spurs fixture in game week 2 mean I should avoid? Nah, I mean, Chelsea have a great historical record against Spurs, right? So I wouldn't be put off by that. Berticus says, that's what I've just done. Tropical says, help me pick my last player. I'm between Neto, Gabriel, Dean, Trippier. Adam says, Trippier or Walker? Trippier. Aki or Dean? First 4 game weeks. Dean. Matassin says, Kane, Trippier, Walker versus Saka, Robertson, Cancelo. Definitely B, mate. Project FPL, Ramsdale and Walker or Sanchez and James. B again. Dana J says, Foden and Martinelli or Saka and Neto. B again. It's all option B's here, guys. West MA, if you're on triple Liverpool, do you think Mount could do good first couple of weeks? 1 at 8 million mid in the squad, as previously just covered. Yeah, it's fine. Peter Carroll, hi James, good luck. Was on Andy's stream while I was waiting and chat. He's nuts over there. Defence is still a concern. I mean, fair play to Andy. I think once I get to Andy's level, I'll just turn the chat off and just you send him questions pre and just talk to a wall, I think. I don't know how he does it. Fair game to him. He is the YouTube king. Defence is still a concern. What, for Andy or for you? Or Alex Savas says best 4.5 million midfielder for guaranteed start. After Andreas says I already have him. I've gone guaranteed start. Yeah, but for how long? I could say to you Romeo Lavia. It's 2 points. It's shit. What? The only person I considered other than Josh Da Silva was Elliot Anderson of Newcastle, who my man FPL Dan watched him at Bristol Rovers last year, and he's extremely highly rated at Newcastle. And it actually wouldn't be a huge shock if he starts tomorrow. We don't think he will, but it wouldn't be a huge shock. I considered him for the potential upside rather than Da Silva. Don't worry about it. Honestly, you could close your eyes and pick anyone, to be honest. If you want absolute nailed, I don't actually think there probably is one. At the moment, the best bet's probably Lavia. But if he doesn't perform well, Romeo could come back in the team for him. So, yeah, guaranteed start tomorrow almost definitely. But beyond that, no idea, mate. That's why I picked someone who's got a potential upside if he gets in the team. Etnic says, hi James, one final decision to be made, lean towards James and Bailey against Trippier and Martinelli. Just wanted to hear your take on this. Cheers, mate. Well, I've got Trippier and Martinelli, so I'd have to advise that, wouldn't I? But if you're leaning towards James and Bailey, that's fine. It's a close call, so I'm absolutely fine if you go James Bailey. Go personal preference there. Go for it, mate. Josh Telling says, Deadline streams are back. FPL is back. Just wanted to thank you as always for the content you make, James. Wish you all the best for the season. You are the GOAT's content creator, in my opinion. Cheers, mate. I don't know about that, but it's much appreciated. Thank you. Joe Knight says, rumour has it Ward doesn't play over Everson. Yes, that's a possibility. But it's a rumour. I think Ward will play. But I got Aaron Lager. We phoned him, or I phoned him at the start of the Ask James stream yesterday, and we spoke about the possibility of Everson starting the first couple and then Danny Ward coming in. And it's made me think of maybe starting with Everson rather than Ward. What I concluded was that those who have Ward will have him with another playing goalkeeper, and he won't be the highest priority. And those who got him with Everson won't give a shit. So the concern about Ward losing his value really quickly early on, I'm going to guess people got more important things to do than swap Ward to Everson in game week 2. So I think Ward is still the better call, personally, if you're going with one. Joe Singh says, thanks for the Spurs update, James. Much appreciated. All the best, mate. I'm sorry kind of why I say that as well, but thank you. Jason Beachaver, sorry if I mispronounced that, starting left wing back for Chelsea. Good question. Really good question. I don't know if Alonso's travelling up or not. I mean, I've got Alonso in my predicted team for that position, but I know he's been strongly linked with Barcelona. But while he's there, they might use him. And I think in a fixture like Everton, they'll probably feel they can get away with it. So I think Alonso. Jordan Murphy says, evening, James. Best of luck for the season. Quick question. Seeing a lot of negativity around Chelsea at the moment. Whose transfer business would you prefer? Chelsea's, Arsenal's or Spurs'? Mine, because they're my players, mate, as in Spurs. So I think Arsenal should be very happy with what they've done. And I don't think we should judge Chelsea till the window's over, is what I would say at the moment. Are Chelsea stronger than they were when the season finished? Debatable. But I'm sure by the end of the window we'll think they are. Arsenal and Tottenham both look stronger. Berticus, sorry mate, forgot to mention I seem to be the only one with Meslier in goals. I think he might get plenty of save points. Is this one crazy and should I go for a save for Sanchez? Excuse me, depends what you want. Meslier I was really considering in case I was looking at wildcard like game week 3, or even knowing that I was definitely going to use it in the first 8. It's difficult to envision not. But I like him as the short term. If I was to end up later, I think Raya would be my choice, personally. I'm not big on Sanchez. Them first 3 are tough. And with Brighton, you've got alternatives like Lewis Dunk within the same team. Whereas you wouldn't pick a Leeds defender over Meslier, for example. And I wouldn't put Rico Henry over Raya either. Whereas with Brighton, Lewis Dunk might outscore Sanchez. That's why I'm not so keen on it, for example. But don't mind it. I looked at him. There was a point about 10 days ago where I looked at him in the draft and I went to bed and he stayed there. I mean, he didn't stay there much longer, to be honest. I want to say, and I'm sorry if this is quoted incorrectly, I want to say he had the worst save percentage in the league last year of retaining Premier League goalkeepers. So he had a real dip last year. Real dip. And I think, as I said earlier, what we're going to get from Leeds might be a little bit unpredictable. But I think of the 4.5s, I think he's got the best first 2, I would say. Ulrich says, why Cash over Dean? Yeah, I'll explain that quickly. I think Dean is more likely to get returns. Cash more likely to get me goals. And I'm going in really short term. So I ain't looking for... I don't expect Matty Cash to be sitting there in 6-7 game weeks, right? Not when he comes into Arsenal, Leicester, Arsenal and Man City in 5-6. So I'm looking for the bang. Like the Matty Cash game week 26 or 28, whatever it was, bang from last season. That's why. If it was a longer term pick, I'd be happier with Luca Dean. But I'm going for the upside on it, I think, in terms of, I think Cash more likely to get goals. Yes, no doubt tomorrow Matty Cash will get 2 points and Luca Dean will get 5. That's the way it goes. But that's my preference. If you have a preference for it the other way, I'm absolutely fine with that. Who's next? Daniel D'Amata. Thoughts on Bruno Guimaraes over Bailey? Nah, not keen. We can't be certain where he's going to play at the moment. So, no for me. Saved $1 million for now. Matthew M says, hi, James. What do you think of the sign of Onana for Everton? Onana. The honest answer is I don't know enough about him, so I'm not going to blag and bullshit you. There's nothing to tell you. There's literally nothing I can tell you. I've not had the time in the last 48 hours to research the player. There's nothing I can tell you that you don't probably already know. I'm concerned about Everton's transfer business generally, but if this fella turns out to be good and they stay up, then he's worth the money. Jay Barker says, evening, James. Who do you prefer for Sky, Cash or Trippier? Or is there anyone else around that price of interest, not including Romero? I can't really answer this, Jay, because I've not had the time to look today, and I was pretty set it would only be Romero. I like Fofana down at 7.5 in Sky Fantasy, but there is the concern of where he'll play. I think up to Eric Dyer at 8.4. As I said at the start of the stream, there was a chance I was for Sky Fantasy, I was going to start with Dyer, Romero and Perisic. And for the second team, I was genuinely looking at going Dyer, Romero, Perisic, Doherty and Lloris, which I know is going to confuse the FPL listeners. Just switch off for 10 seconds. But that's all off the table now. I don't know what I'm doing. So when I finish the stream, I need to decide. It's the honest truth. I would say no. In terms of the two you're saying in there, it's slight preference for trips, I think. Probably more tackle tier from memory. I don't really want to be quoted on that. Ez Thrifty says, Ward-Everson combo worth the risk to enable better players elsewhere. All the best, James. Thanks, mate. I've decided not, but as I explained, if you listen to the final drafts, which has proved not to be the final draft, I don't know what Suja's doing, this morning, I come round to the idea of people doing it as okay, because it is looking more and more like Leicester might not get a keeper in. I've looked at it as I don't like their opening five. I can, if I become confident or it's obvious that Leicester aren't buying a goalkeeper or the window's closed, then I would be very keen to get down there, for example, because they have an incredible run, sort of game week 9 onwards. And these guys ain't going to go through the roof in prices, particularly if Ward is the starter. If Ward is the starter and I've got him, I need to rush to do anything. I don't. But yeah, I presume at some point, when the fixtures get more difficult, I mean, Arsenal, if you take it this way, Arsenal walk into Tottenham, Liverpool 9-10. I think they've got Man City in 12, I want to say. And that's the beginning of an amazing run for Leicester. So, if I haven't wildcarded by that point, which, to be honest, I probably will have, then yeah, absolutely would free up the £1 million there. Yusuf says, hi, James, would you go with Andreas plus 4.0 plus Callum Wilson or Neto plus Reece James 4.5 striker option? Son of Sam, Perisic not changed today. I haven't heard that at all. If that's what people are saying, that's new information. I have not heard that. Elliot Simmons, best 5 million defender. Well, it was, in my opinion, 6 hours and 15 minutes ago. Matt Doherty, but it's not now. I think Matty Cash. But there'll be people who prefer Luca Dean, right? So I think Matty Cash to start with. Steve says Mendy over Ramsdale, but you have Ramsdale in your team. Are Arsenal fixtures really that much better game week 1 to 8? Yeah. The thinking as well, and I explained this morning, was that there's a possibility that I'll need to get to a Chelsea defender quickly, be it James, Cucurella, be it Fofana comes in. Whereas I can't see me being interested in Gabriel or Zinchenko. And that's the number one reason why I went for Ramsdale over Mendy. I think on this weekend, Everton haven't got a centre forward. If you were sitting there with... You're not. But if you were sitting there with Mendy and Ramsdale in your team, then you would go Mendy, wouldn't you? Surely, I think. Next week, you'd probably go Ramsdale. Week after, I think you'd go Ramsdale. Week after, you'd go Ramsdale. Week after, you'd go Ramsdale, actually. So 2 to 5, I'd go Ramsdale, mate. Anyway. Yes, Jake Cav, I lose the will to live sometimes, as you've said. Not with that particular question, Steve. It's a good question. Uzazma says, hi, James. Martinelli and James or 8 million mid and 8 Nori. This gives me the flexibility to go with the flexibility option, mate. You've answered your own question. Go with the flexibility, I think. Andy Mack says, when do you think Foden becomes a regular starter again, and will he be a serious choice for game week 2? Cheers, James. He might be. Let's discuss it on Monday, right? Matthew Hall says, Ward, Robbo and Mount or Ramsdale, 6.0 defender and Diaz. Sorry, I've read that really badly. Ward, Robbo and Mount or Ramsdale, 6.0 defender and Diaz. Option B, I think, to be honest. There's a Robertson one I didn't say. Sam Streak says, good luck, James. Looking forward to the new season. What's your favourite opening day game ever? For me, it wasn't a great game, but when Eric Dyer scored in like the 94th minute on his debut at Upton Park, and I was behind the goal, and you can see me behind the goal as well. Oh, mate, that was brilliant. Because we went down to 10 men after like 20 minutes as well, so we had to hang in there. Then they had a player sent off. It was James Collins, I think, from memory. And yeah, we won it right at the death. Kane came on a sub. This was the season he exploded. And loads of Spurs fans, I promise you, unbelievable. Loads of Spurs fans were tutting and having a whinge when Kane came on before Soldado. Honest truth. And Kane set up Dyer for the winner. the fickle football fan, right? Limbs everywhere. So that's by miles my favourite opening day moment. I think that's the one though. That's the first one that came to my head. Sam Streak, I think I've done yours. Right, yeah. Adim says, hi there, no question here, doing a great job, love the content, good luck for the season. Thank you very much. You did put a question mark in the end though, I like that. Lawrence Gill, do price rises start tonight or at the end of the weekend? You're very unlikely to have any tonight, mate, but I guess in theory it's not impossible. Arpav says, hi James, best of luck for the season, Trippier, Walker, Son, or Robertson, Cancelo, Mount. That's not straightforward to answer, purely because I kind of want to say option B, but where does that leave you for captaincy? Does that just leave you with one premium? So I don't think that's straightforward. I think you do want two premiums. So if that's the case, then I'm going to say the Sunny option. If not, if you've already got like Haaland and Salah sitting there, then option B. Martin Taylor, let him make noise. Harry, make noise. Sorry for the inconvenience, if anyone's inconvenienced. Andrew08 says, hi James, is Perisic a stupid pick for the zombie team? Not at all. I mean, it's too late for us to look now, but I think we've got him. Sam Robertson says, I'm still torn like Natalie and Bruglia, or Beth from Neighbours. James. But for now, I'm now doing two 4.0 goalkeepers and using the extra 0.5 to get James for Evan. Is Chelsea defence a trap? Oh, stop that. Bad Chelsea defence a trap. One of the best defences in the league, mate. I think we're all a little bit suspicious that something might go wrong. I think a lot of us neutrals are anyway. Chelsea fans don't seem like they are, but a lot of us neutrals are. Honestly, on them fixtures, they could win the first 7. They really, really could. So, no, I wouldn't look at it that way, mate. It's basically the same defence, isn't it? Koulibaly's in for Rudiger. It's basically the same at the moment. Sagnick says, Aki or Walker, mate. Good luck for the new season and may your arrows be green. I'd have to go Walker, and I'd be very reluctant to do so. Raymond Reddington says, I'm going Son and Bamford over Kane and 8 million midfielder. What do you think? I'm not going to tell you anything, mate. You've already made your decision. Jahan Ahmed says, if you were Eddie Howe, who would you sign to play right wing, semi-realistic plays? James Maddison. Patrick Lawson says, and Aaron Lager keeps telling me that's his best position at Leicester, so there you go. Patrick Lawson, hey James, best 5 to 5.5 million midfielder in your opinion? I covered this, Bailey and Neto, I'm going to skip. Marky Sharky 76, freemium here, Salah captain, Harry and Eric, that's it. Good luck everyone. Birth Media is saying good luck, thank you mate. Philip Michael Music, annoying about Perisic, yes. Yeah, massively. It's massively annoyed me. But it has also, for me with the FPL, I just think it's a curveball, change it. It's annoyed me more from the content perspective, that's all. And to be honest, personally, I want to see him play tomorrow. It's a new signing, I want to see him play. But as I said, it's a longer process potentially. By the way, can I just say, if I get the Spurs tomorrow and I see he's in the team, I'll be so happy. Honestly, so happy. Because I want to see him play for my team tomorrow is the most important thing to me. Viru says, hi James, thank you for everything you do. Robertson, Raya or Van Dijk, Ramsdale or James Ramsdale on 0.5 in the bank. Robertson is nearly always a priority for me, so I'm going to take that option. Bunny V says, hi James, bench Cancelo is a never. Just end that. Neto or Martinelli. Start Ward or Ramsdale. Ward and Ramsdale you'll find on page 5 of the benching dilemmas, mate. Should pop up on your screen any second now. And what's the other one? It's got to be Neto from that, I think, isn't it? Reluctantly. Lee Jackson, thank you for your stupid question. I've already had that once. Matthew Hall says, start with Mount or Kulusevski. No other Spurs. Don't let that influence the decision. And I think the right decision might be Mount. But they're both good options. Philip Michael Music. Good squad, man. Cheers. Ronak Chopra. Hi, James. Which formation is better? 1-4-4-2 Bailey. 2-5-3-2 Trippier. Kind of dependent on the rest of your players, to be totally honest. But look, I've gone Trippier, haven't I? So that's the answer. I've gone 5-3-2 Trippier and not Bailey. I obviously could have gone. I could have gone Nico Williams. I could have put Bailey in. I could have forced Reece James in. There's loads of things I could have done, and I decided not to. I just went with that Trippier 5-3-2. Cole JB says, evening James and all. Good luck for the season. Let's have some fun. Agreed. Dominic says Johnny or 8 Nori. I would gamble 8 Nori, personally. I'd gamble it. Both should be okay for a few weeks, though. Holostamos says, thanks, James France. All the best for new season. Garlic 25. Martinelli and Neves or Rashford and Bailey. Not Neves. Not keen on that. Jesus says, and that's with a G, so I guess that's Jesus. Who do you prefer over the next 2 game weeks, Cash or Trippier? Over the first 2, it's possibly slight preference for Cash again. I think Villa have the best 2 fixtures of any team, so when it's that close, I think I will always be liable to go with a fixture perspective on it, because Brighton isn't easy for Newcastle next week, is it? Obviously, so Cash. Callum Watkins says, sorry if I've missed this. What's your reason behind no Reece James? Keep up the great content. Love all your work. It's part that. It was part influence, because again, I could have done it today. It's part looking at it and going, if I just wait here and I've got the full picture of understanding, like I know the Denzel Dumfries keeps getting mentioned, for example. If I just wait, I might be in a position where I can go, yeah, that's the one at 4.5 or 5 million and make the save in there, for example. So to be honest, that's the main reason. Reece James is a brilliant asset. I wouldn't tell anybody not to get him. I've made a personal decision to go down a slightly different route with it. I have 0.5 in the bank, so I couldn't do it there unless I got rid of both Cash and Trippier, which I obviously did consider today, but I thought it was better just to go with the 2 5.5s and leave the money in the bank for the time being. That's what I decided. And you know what? If I had another 2 days to think about it, maybe I'd have gone Reece James on a 4.5. Maybe I'd have done that. One says, when is the first price rise? 2:30 in the morning tonight or tomorrow night or the next night, roughly. Sorry, I can't read your name because it's in letters that I can't understand. But thank you for your question. Thoughts on Mbumo? All right, possibly a bit under the radar. Oh, wow, it's about 5 minutes from deadline, by the way, guys. Just rambling on here. Yeah, it is 5 minutes from deadline. I'll just have a little check for anything team news-wise, but I think we all know what the Arsenal team's going to be tonight, I think. Thoughts on Mbumo? Yeah, all right. Not bad. Not bad at all. Could be an interesting little differential. They've got a great run of fixtures from game week 3 or so. He seems to be a bit happier on the right as well. I'd just be a little bit concerned that obviously Lewis Potter's coming in. They're trying to potentially make a deal for Damsgaard as well. So there's interest in other attacking players. But this goes for a lot of players like Mbumo at the moment. But yeah, an interesting. I don't mind it if you want to go for him. Harry, Mummy's not rushing home tonight, so like McDonald's or whatever you want, mate. What am I meant to be checking? Oh yeah, messages. See if there's anything on Teams tonight. I'm not expecting anything, by the way. Patrons, if you've seen anything in relation specifically to Crystal Palace and Arsenal tonight, just tag me quick on Slack. But I think as I said, I think we know what the Arsenal team will be. Gavin Welsh says, hi James, good luck to you. I'm taking a punt on Dele as a differential and the fact that Everton are likely to play him up front. Did you consider any low ownership players in your 15? Yeah, I was going to start with 1% Matt Doherty. And then it got ruined. I mean, Robertson's not highly owned, is it? It was about 12%ish or so. Martinez's not massive. The team has ended up more template than I wanted it to be, but I think it might suit my game a little bit. And to be honest, I feel like just purely by not having Salah, my team has differentiated quite a bit from certain other people, bearing in mind people have got Salah effectively twice every week and I've got him none, right? So that alone makes me feel like I'm kind of not on the template, right? Not having the best asset in the game, and I know he's the best asset in the game. So why didn't you get him? I've done this 100 times already. Lewis Cole says, hi James, rank Rashford, Neto, Bailey, cheers. That order. Gavin Welsh says, I've gone with Darwin instead of Jesus because of the high ownership of Jesus. Did you consider swinging against? Not for a moment. I'm thinking about it like this as well. Jesus' ownership is so high, you think, oh, it's got to drop. But actually could get higher. What if he does really well tonight and against Leicester and then he's going into Bournemouth, Fulham? It could go up. Honestly, it could go up. So, no. Honestly, I've not really fought against it at all. I genuinely think that he could win the Golden Boot this year and he's 8 million. So, no. I've never fought against it. And if that's wrong, and I hope I'm wrong because I support the enemy to Arsenal, I hope I'm wrong. I hope I have to sell him because he's shit. I hope I have to sell all 3 of my Arsenal assets because they're shit. That would be great. But I think he'll go very close to winning the Golden Boot. I really do. And the fixtures at the start. But then first 8. We've got the best first 8 in the league as well. Best first 4, best first 8. Man United away. I mean, at the moment, if the two teams playing each other tomorrow, Arsenal go down and piss all over them, in my opinion. So, I mean, theory, Arsenal could win the first 8 games. If I said to you now Arsenal are going to win the first 8 games, I'm sure they won't. How many goals do you think Jesus gets if he plays number 9 every game? And he probably will. What do we think? Let's be conservative. 5, 6? If he gets 5 or 6 in 8, he's well worth 8 million. Well worth it. And there's every chance that he'll get more. Charles John says, Rashford or Kulusevski? Kulusevski for me, but then what are you doing with a 1.5 million? We are around about, I think, 2 minutes from deadline or so, guys. Might be a little bit later, actually. Yeah, I've got about 54 seconds to go, actually, on my screen. Now is the time, kids, to get yourselves locked in. I have had no DMs from any of my patrons on Slack, so I presume there is no interest in Crystal Palace and Arsenal team news, therefore. Right, we'll fire in a quick more. Sorry, I'm obviously not going to get to everybody. Who's next? Aaron Lally says Salah and Grealish or KDB and Diaz. I arguably would say Salah, Martinelli and save the money. Cheers for all the work you've been putting in. Got a 250k finish because of you and Suj. Thanks. Or Rashford. But yeah, probably the Salah option. Neil Kager says, hi James, thanks for everything. Have a great first game. Enjoy the matches. Cheers, Neil. Matt Splinter says, Mount Matters or Kulusevski for 1 game week. Oh, tough. I think Leicester might play a diamond tomorrow, which might be off-putting, might be absolutely brilliant. I can't actually tell you. Kulusevski, but they're all potentially very good options for tomorrow. John Say says, with Sancho and Rashford out, I'm back with Rashford and 4-4-2. Good luck. Jonathan Comber says, afternoon, James. Thoughts on Vardy's FPL value if Maddison moves on? Great content as always. I think, to be honest, whatever happens, you'll be reviewing your thoughts on Jamie Vardy come game week 4 because of the fixtures anyway. So, but first 3, great. As far as I'm concerned, pre-season is over. The deadline has arrived for game week 1. Well done, everybody. I'd like to throw out some thanks to Suj and Nico. Brilliant during pre-season, to be honest, particularly Nico, because Suj fucked off for a while. But I love you, boss. Nico, absolutely brilliant on the video editing this summer. We couldn't do half the shit we did without him. And it's because of the patrons that we have Nico to help us is huge for us. And we will improve what we do in time. We will strive to be better. We're not perfect. We will strive to make things better, like the graphics on YouTube and stuff like that. We will try our best over time. We are a podcast first. This is obviously YouTube content. At the end of the day, we're a podcast first. But we get there. We want to try new things. He allows me to do more. A lot more. It makes me better knowledgeable as well, because I can spend more time researching rather than editing videos and shit like that. And we've got Nico because of the support we have from patrons. So that's massive for us. So thank you to the patrons anyway for your support. Welcome to all the new patrons. If you want to support our content, www.patreon.com/planetfpl. There will be 23 additional podcasts from intermediate tier in August. You can join our cash prize mini leagues. You can support us from £3 a month. Come and join the Slack community. Have access to my spreadsheet, etc. If you want to go the whole hog, join me on advanced tier. Regular videos every weekday. Advanced tier. There'll be a few days this month where there's going to be 2 videos a day. Right, if anybody's got any non-FPL questions, because I am really FPL'd out to tell you the truth, then throw them in the chat now and I'll happily cover them off. For those who just came for the FPL because it's all you care about and football's not that important to you, I wish you the very best of luck for the season. Smash a like, hit the subscribe button on the way out. We were at last look, I think I want to say around about 9,800 subscribers. No, 9,940 subscribers now. So if you're one of the 500 or so who seem to be here at the moment and you haven't subscribed, hit the sub, and you never know, I might be able to celebrate beating on 10,000 subscribers in a couple of minutes. Hit the like button. thank you so much. Ciao. I will stay around with you guys 15 minutes or so because I want to get this little man fed and shit, and I'm hungry as well, and I want to shower, and I want to watch the football, and there's loads going on. Content next week. Main pod be back Monday. I don't know the rest yet. I haven't had time to think about it. Who else did I want to give thanks to? There was someone else. Anybody who's liked, shared, supported, all that stuff. The correspondence. How good were they? Brilliant. Right. I need to do my Sky team as well. Christ. Tom Reynolds, good luck, James, and everyone. Pre-season content has been excellent. Thank you. FPL Vigorous, all the best, James. Thank you. Sorry to those I didn't get to your question. Did my best. Hopefully we covered your stuff anyway. Jay says, thank you, James. Let's make this deadline stream a norm. It is a norm. I did 37 last year, and I did Gameweek 38 because I went to Norwich. I did one the day before. Whenever I can, I'll do one. I can say now I'll be able to do the first 7 or 8 or so. When we play Arsenal, it's 12:30 kickoff, and it might be that I have to finish like half hour before deadline or something, but I'll probably do one. Man City, I'm going up to Man City's 5:30 kickoff. I should be able to do it. I booked the train for about hour and 20 minutes after deadline. So I mean, maybe an hour 40, but if I finish on deadline, I can do it. The other weeks are fine. I'll be able to do it. Like we've got Wolves 12:30. I'll have to, again, there's a few times this year I'm not going to be able to do the Q&A bit afterwards. I'll have to literally finish when the deadline strikes. But yeah, the intention, wherever possible, is to do the deadline. My priority will always be my football team. I'd make absolutely zero apologies for that. Tottenham play, I'm watching Tottenham. FPL Cricketer says, seems silly to spend a month drafting, change it all in last minute. Team news knowing we'll all be on wildcard in 3 weeks' time. We are strange people. Yo, it's so true. You do put all that thought in. That's why I say to people, like, relax. Like in June and July, when's the game on? When's the game on? The reality is, look at like the last week alone with the Leicester keepers, the Doherty Perisic stuff today, few injuries and stuff as well. And you know, people saying mid-July I'm locked. You're not locked. It's ridiculous, honestly. And you can overthink it, like looking and tinkering every day. So, I mean, I went in, looked at drafts, set it, left it for a little while. You kind of change little bits now and again when you think, oh, I've got that idea in my head. Leave it for a day. Have a look at it tomorrow. How do you feel with fresh eyes and stuff? But yeah, it's absolutely true. All that stressing that people do, and then the reality is you only end up making last minute decisions anyway. The trick is, I think, and this has to be a real lesson for people in terms of I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Do the research. Do the proper research. So the one thing that benefited me today, because I had work on and I had to get Harry and stuff like that, if I hadn't been doing content, as I said to one of the questions, I might have ended up starting the season with Reece James. But I knew that I'd done the proper research into Kieran Trippier and Matty Cash on Tuesday. I knew that they were great assets, just that Doherty, if he started, was an unbelievable asset potentially. That was it. And that had convinced me with Doherty. So it was the research that helped me land this way. I went with what I knew. It's not like I don't know Reece James, but I obviously do. But with the 4.5s, it's a price point that I've largely ignored. And then suddenly I was going to be on the final day in a position to choose one. So I decided the best thing to do was not, in reality. And that's having the price set in my mind, possible weakness that I was thinking I want to go big at the back and ideally have 5. If I was going to 4, I was coming down to Nico Williams. If I went Nico Williams and James, I still had 0.5 in the bank. And then I've had to start Nico Williams or Pereira this week, which I know I think Suj has done, but I went cold on the idea of doing that, to be honest. I would have started Pereira, by the way. That was a bit of a rant from not even a question. But well said, cricketer. Ira Robinson says, GG, mate. What's GG, mate? Is it good? I always feel like it's good God. Good God, mate. Great work with the pod streams. Looking forward to following along. Thanks, Ira. Danelius says, good luck. Zizou says, which Arsenal player do you fancy in Spurs? None of them, mate. They play for the opposition. But no, I understand the question. If you're saying which Arsenal player would I take to Spurs, if I could take anyone, it's not straightforward because I'm thinking of the problems that we have. If we played a back four, I'd arguably say Tommy Asu for a right back. Tempted to say Kieran Tierney. Injury prone as well. Do you know what? To be honest, at the moment, I'd maybe say Gabriel as left-sided centre back. This isn't to say the attacking players aren't great players. Like they are, obviously. It's just less of a requirement. So I'll say Gabriel. I think. Sam Warren says, "Cheer, James. Sky question: VVD or Sonny captain tomorrow?" It's close. Sonny. Voyas says it's about to hit 10k. Oh, is it going up? Is it? That'd be really nice if. Oh look, 9.99. Who's gonna do it? Go and get people in. Right? Let's not end the stream till we hit 10,000 subscribers. That would be pretty cool. Sam Warren's Voyas that it's about to hit 10k. 10 Crescent, non-FPL question. What was Uncle Joe doing in Barca, and is it anything to do with selling of naming rights? Are you referring to Joe Lewis, Tim? I've got to be honest, I'm unaware. If it's a different Uncle Joe, I don't know who it is, so I can't answer the question. Maybe he's buying Frankie de Jong, who knows? Imagine. Neil Thompson says, what is it for tea tonight? Will you get a beer before the footy starts? No, I won't have a beer. No, not at all. I don't drink at home. And I definitely wouldn't when I'm on my own with him anyway. And he's like, I had one or two. Yeah, I just don't. I don't enjoy it. It's probably going to be McDonald's or something, I think. I made him some fruit and he's... Harry! Eating food. Come on. Yeah? Apple. Good boy. I think it's going to be McDonald's though, Neil. It's Friday. It's easy for him. Chris Jargo says, Happy New Season, James. Thoughts on Delhi getting his finger out of his arse for Everton? Good up top or wishful thinking? I mean, fantasy was a no for me, I would say. Oh, there you go. Hit 10,000 subs. That's great. Cheers, guys. Much love. That's nice. It's humbling. It's humbling, honestly. We're a podcast. This is a stream, so it's amazing. You know, we've hit 40,000 Twitter followers, we've hit 600 patrons. We've done these all in like the last week or so. So, do you know what? It's difficult. You say it's humbling, but it's difficult to give thanks without it saying like a brag. Oh, look at me! I got 10,000 subs or 600 patrons. I don't know how else to like say it and give thanks. So it is a nice achievement to hit 10,000 subs. So thank you very much. Chris, I'm interested to watch Delhi. Obviously, I'll watch the game tomorrow night. If I'm out and about, I'll record it and watch it a bit later and stuff. Potentially, if I'm on the source, if Perisic's got a hat-trick, obviously. I'll probably have a beer before the footy starts tomorrow. In response to Neil's earlier question, I think he will play up front. I think you'll find he'll probably do a good job for you in some of the bigger games, like Chelsea. Might be more of a problem, say, against Villa next week, ironically. Steve says, make sure you spend some time with your kid. Nothing more important. This one, it's my best mate. Rank and Spank says, good luck, mate. Cheers for the quality content. Cheers. Tom says, what do you think of Rangers after watching the Spurs friendly, if you saw them in the Europa League? I didn't see a lot. I watched the final against Seville. Frankfurt in Seville. I really did really well. And they had brilliant chance in extra time to win it. I should have won it, really. Although I think a draw was right, really. Not bad. All right. I didn't think, shit Scottish team or anything like that. All right. I think we dominated the game, deserved to win the game. I think Rangers scored during their kind of really good spell in the game. All right. To be honest, if I went into detail on Rangers, I'm blagging it, mate. So I'm not going to. They looked fine. They looked like they could be Premier League standard. There you go. Avis says, good luck all. Thanks for the content, James. It's just pre-season. About 8 months to go, yeah? 8, 9 months, 10 months. Avis says, we've done. Paul Whitehead said, just cheers for all the content, amazing effort, and sort Suj out. Some of the stuff he comes out with seems he's smoking some decent gear. Listen, I get really fucking arsey when people say, oh my god, look at James, he speaks more sense about football than Suj. Yeah, I know that. Suj knows that. So what? Would you... Like, literally, there isn't a combination in the FPL community like me and Suj. If there is, go and find it. We're different. He's a good host. He'd be the first to say he's not the most knowledgeable football fan in the world. He leaves that stuff to me. And we bounce off each other. So we're different. We're at different levels of knowledge, and it's okay. It also doesn't mean he can't beat me at FPL. Like, he can. He's got every right to be there. Yes, sometimes he says some dumb things. So do I, by the way. But I think it adds to the pod. There's everything got to be so serious all the time. If Suj doesn't know who Leicester's reserve left back is or something, so what? Do you know who Leicester's reserve left back is? Prabesh says, trophy this season, James. Yeah, we won the Watertoll Cup when we beat Rangers a couple of weeks ago. So that's it. It's in the bag. It's done. Look, it'd be nice. I think... I hate saying it, but the league position is more important because that's more important for Conte. This is a reality. Magnificent to win a trophy. Let's say win the League Cup and finish 6th, and Conte goes at the end of the season. If I said to Spurs fan, would you rather now? Would you rather finish 6th and Conte goes, but you win the League Cup, or you finish 3rd and 4th again and Conte stays? I don't think there's a debate, to be honest. Daniel Koppel says, who do you think will be the back 5 for Chelsea at the weekend? I would have thought, obviously James right wing back. I think Alonso left wing back. I would guess the back 3 now is going to be Koulibaly. Harry, eat in, please. Thank you. Koulibaly, Silva, and Azpilicueta, I would have thought. Daniel says, thanks for the content, pre-season and beyond, mate. Best in business, much love, thank you. Tom Reynolds says, James, have you been watching the Commonwealth Games? Which sports if so? I'm currently sitting in a village watching your stream. Heading off to the Athletic Stadium now with an athlete. Have a great night. I feel guilty now when I'm going to tell you no. I've seen like what's been on the news and stuff. I tend to always try and watch the news at 10 o'clock. Otherwise, I have no idea what's happening in the world because my brain's only got enough room for the little man of football. So that no, I've not, to be honest. Sometimes it's stayed on in the background afterwards, but I've probably been researching, not watching it. Peter Gray says, James, what's your favourite away day? City, not away stadium, but City to be in and about in. That's an easy one. Newcastle. Brilliant. Friendly people as well, as in the sense that like you can have banter with them. I went up there last day of the season when we lost 5-1 and they'd been relegated. And knew with Spurs and stuff. It didn't have colours out, as long as you're respectful as well. But obviously, I only have to order a drink in a pub in Newcastle and people know I'm not a Geordie, right? People great, and then they give all the banter back afterwards and you have to take it. Brilliant people. Really good. And I can't think of many cities where I've been really comfortable saying that, to be honest. I'll throw another one in. Was nice and welcoming. There wasn't an issue. Is to be honest, I was going to say Munich. Actually, anywhere in Germany, great. I think Newcastle, in terms of, yeah, very welcoming. Great city. You can stay there and have a party. You can do whatever you want in Newcastle without any concerns. I think you always, when you're southern and you go up north, I think you're always a little bit aware that you know as soon as you open your mouth, people know you're not from local, and certain people do have certain thoughts about people from London and whatnot, some of that. No problems in Newcastle ever. To be honest, I've never had any problems anywhere, but sometimes you just get a vibe. Never had a bad vibe in Newcastle. Patrick Lawson says, would you rather have no lights in your house or no fridge and microwave? No lights in my house, but can I have the light on the... Is that blinding? Sorry if it was. Can I have the light on my phone? Then I'm alright. No lights in the house. Candles, you deal with candles, mate. Yeah, it's fine. Sam Vimes says, means good game. Oh, good game. Okay, GG, good game. Noah says, surely Odegaard over Gabriel. Where does Odegaard play for me in a 2? Is he getting the team over Kulusevski? You can have that debate, but that's not a priority. It's a priority for Tottenham to have a left-footed centre-back. Sam Vimes says, comes from esports. Is that, the good game? All right, good game. Peter Gray says, GG, good game. I'm gonna call the podcast this on Monday. GG, good game. It started as a gaming term when you met good opposition or teammates in Call of Duty. I did kind of gather it was a compliment, so thank you. Santosh Kumar says, I'm so not down with the kids anymore. Hurry, I have Alvarez as City forward, gone for him for knowing he will come off bench or may start as well in another position. FPL is about fun, right? You definitely recovered that statement at the end. Tim saying yes to Joe Lewis. I will investigate that, Tim, because I didn't know. Thank you. Claudia 8, 10k James, congrats. Yeah, cheers guys. There's going to be quite a few congrats here, isn't there? Neil Thompson, much appreciated. Thank you. JP says, say your fruit before McDonald's. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's how I get away with it with mum, innit? Peter Gray says, congrats. Thank you, Dan Kerwin. Thank you, Richard Benson. Benno, hope all you're well, mate. Benno did a 24-hour stream for charity very recently, cut for 3 weeks ago maybe. Smash target, well done, pal. JP says, I'm never doing it again. You can all shut up now. JP, congrats, top stuff. More coming your way. Peter Carroll says, congrats. Thank you, Peter G. Gibbs White still a good budget pick for Sky. God, I need to look at this, don't I? Shit. Alright, Sky. Right, I'm going to tell you what I've got, and for the patrons, if I change it, I'll post it in Slack. But the team that I've landed on now, I need to do the second team. There's no point in me reading that out. I'm going to have to thump around with that. I think I'm going to end up going very heavy Man City, I think. Right, Sky team. This is with 0 in the bank, so it cuts me off of Kane. But I could go to Son. Alisson, Cancelo, Romero, Dyer, Koulibaly, Salah, João Paulinho, Thiago Alcantara, Bruno Guimaraes, Jesus and Haaland. Captains would be Jesus tonight, Salah tomorrow, and Haaland or Cancelo on Sunday. I think I'll go Haaland, actually, having thought about it more. That might be that. I've covered that way then. I really did want to go in extra on Tottenham, which I've kind of done looking at double defence now. But I was looking at going 4 or 5 even, possibly. Bruno's the one that works for the main. The earlier question was someone asked me about 7.9 mids in Sky. And the reason I ended up back with Guimaraes was at his price point. There wasn't anything really that I liked. Rashford at 8.1, bit punty, which I don't hate. And he could cover me a captaincy for Leicester Man United in a few weeks down the line. But he had a look back with... I was looking at Thiago's numbers and he's extremely consistent. And I thought, let me go and look at Bruno's again. And, man, when you look at it... I was kind of ruining myself out of Bruno because although he's great consistency, you're not going to need him for captaincy till probably after the World Cup. But what a player to sit in there he looks. I mean, Jesus... He basically returns every game. And that's ideal at his price point, really. So I think that might be my team with 0 in the bank. And I might just leave that. And then I can, like I said, I won't be able to go to Kane, but I can go Haaland to Son next week. Which I'd probably have a slight preference for anyway, actually. So I could get to Kane. It just mean I'd be selling Salah. I guess if Salah got injured, there's something I would maybe do in Sky. Fuck it, I think that's probably going to be my team. Alisson, Cancelo, Romero, Dyer, Koulibaly, Salah, Paulinho, Thiago, Guimaraes, Jesus, Haaland. The FPL listeners are going to think that's terrible. Different format completely, guys. Keith Rowley, all well deserved. Your stream's one of the best of the creators. Thank you very much. To answer Peter's question on Gibbs White, I know I've been put off. I mean, it's still a good choice, yeah, but I've been put off. I think you can go back to it. Floor Lex says congrats. Mike Hauser said congrats. Thank you guys. Jay Barker, thank you. Is there enough of us to fill Bournemouth Stadium yet? Yeah, good spot. Yeah, as many. That's crazy when you think about it. Nearly as many subscribers to fill a Premier League stadium. Meanwhile, over at fucking Let's Talk, Andy's filling the Camp Nou, the Bernabeu, and Wembley probably. God, I mean, he must be on about 300k now, isn't he? I should imagine. Right. Jeff Holt, your 3 best Spurs players who you have seen who were never capped. Oh, that's on the hop there, mate. Oh, great question. And I like it. Spurs players who weren't capped, like for England. Oh, wow. Most of them are, aren't they? So you're saying best as well. You haven't even said favourite. Because you have people like David Howells, I think, like in the 90s, he'd been at Tottenham for a long time. You get a real affinity with and stuff. Best. I mean, to be honest with you, Jeff, if you're decent and you're English and you play for Tottenham, you're going to get in the squad, aren't you? Who's the last regular Englishman we had? That they all have spells, like Andros Townsend had a spell and stuff. They all get in. If you're English, like if Jed Spence gets in the Tottenham team, eventually you'll get in the England squad. They all do. So I don't know where to answer that. I'd have to go back. It would be people like that, David Howells, I think, and further. There's probably some great. My dad would tell you some great ones, Jeff, from like the 60s and 80s. I'm sure he'd answer that question far better than I would. Sam Vime says Newcastle fans are great. Always want to talk about football. Yeah, just want to enjoy yourself. They love their club. They love their club. Jay Barker, Cornet to West Ham confirmed. Wonder what position he'll be in FPL. Ooh, it's a good question. I think they'd probably stick him in as a midfielder, I would guess. There's speculation he may even be used as a wing-back. They definitely won't price him as defender. I would have thought midfielder. Nicola Torco's GG everyone, ha ha. Jonathan Comba, how long have you and Suj known each other? When did you become mates? We ain't mates, he's my boss. We met in the summer of 2016. I worked for his packaging company. I won the work mini league. He asked me if I wanted to do a podcast, and we're still doing it. And everyone gets the same answer. It's no frills. I'm really sorry. It's a no frills story. That is literally it. We were talking about football before we were mates, and we are mates now, obviously. He'd find it difficult to sack me, I suppose. Cyril Kavanagh says, James, your little one sounds great in the background. Have a great weekend and best of luck for season ahead. Quality streams, thank you. J23 is doing GGEZ, so I don't know what that means either. Addy Tour says congrats. Jay Barker, is this the end of Martin Tyler? I don't know what's happened to Martin Tyler. Jeremy Lawless says perhaps the most interesting prediction for me is your Leeds 1-0 result. Personally expecting Leeds to leave themselves very vulnerable in the wide areas similar to their game against Calgary, which is exactly what I said that Leeds fans, I'm not saying you're a Leeds fan, that Leeds fans would say if they saw my prediction and go, no way 1-0. I think it's probably more of a reflection of Wolves than Leeds. Is the point. Darren Marston says Andy just hit 300k at the end of his stream. Exactly, brilliant. What a god he is. JC573 says Salah and Kane, Haaland or Salah and Sutton. You're not asking me an FPL question, please, mate. All I've done for 6 weeks, mate. I'm the dude. Having Spurs players in the squad is why we never win anything. Addy Tour says Gary Mabbutt, did he get an England cap? Yeah, Gary Mabbutt got about 12 or so, mate. I actually remember him assisting a very important goal scored by Gary Lineker in Poland in the European Championship qualifier in 1991. There you go. I'm pretty sure, I want to say might have even been in England's Euro 92 squad, but didn't get on the pitch, maybe. We certainly played in the qualifiers and stuff, as I just said. Right, I'm going to leave it there. Thanks so much, guys. Good luck for the season. If you have a shit night in FPL, just remember that probably everyone's having a shit night in FPL, and don't worry about it because the game's very template at the moment. And if you have a bad Saturday, there's still the Sunday games to recover. And if you have a bad game week, there's 37 game weeks to recover. Please enjoy the football this weekend. Football is back. Without football, this game doesn't exist that we all enjoy. But the football is back, and I cannot wait to get the Spurs tomorrow. If your club is starting the season this weekend, I wish you the best of luck. Yep, even you, Gooners. I wish you the best of luck. You might need it. Everyone, have a great weekend. Me and Suj will be back with a Game Week review Monday deadline stream next week. I can tell you I don't know the content next week. Honestly, I haven't thought about it. Until you clash the correspondence back Thursday is Chelsea versus Tottenham. Gary Mantle and Ricky Saunders. Keep your eye out for a little promo for that on Sunday night on the old Bird app. Steve Perriman's a great shout, Sam. I think he got one. Yeah, we did a pod on best team never capped by England, and I'm sure I saw he had one. Sorry, it's completely thrown me. Next week, when's the fucking deadline next week, James? It's got to be Saturday morning, hasn't it? Surely. So it'll be 10 o'clock next Saturday morning. Anyway, we'll have Ask James Friday and all that jazz in between anyway. Have a great weekend. Thanks for the subs and the likes, guys. Smash it all on the way out. Have a great weekend. Have a beer. Enjoy yourselves. Chill. It feels emotional ending it now. Like, I've got to have a day off now. See you later, everyone. Good luck.